Abuja, a city built on dreams and asphalt, where the air itself feels heavy with ambition. For those who come here, there's always one thing on their mind: to blow. Yes, the great Nigerian dream. To become wealthy, famous, to have a name that echoes in every corner, from the streets of Wuse to the villages far beyond. It is a dream so powerful, it can make a man believe he can fly on a single kobo. For me, that dream was no different. But my road was paved with a different kind of belief. You see, everyone else was chasing the monthly paycheck. They called it security. But to me, that wasn't security. That was a cage. A gilded one perhaps, but a cage nonetheless. I looked at that monthly salary, that predictable sum, and I heard the whisper of the deceiver. Because the Bible, the one I carry close to my heart, it speaks of God giving us our daily bread. Daily, not monthly. So why would I go against the divine plan for some devilish once-a-month arrangement? That was my gospel, my philosophy, my faith in a daily miracle, a daily provision.
And so I hustled. After school, I went from one job to the next, a restless spirit seeking that daily manna. First, as a real estate agent. I had grand visions then. I would walk into a room, a tiny cramped office with a fan that only pushed warm air around, and I would paint a picture with my words. I would tell a prospective client that this empty land wasn't just dirt, it was the foundation for their dynasty. I would promise them peace, luxury, a garden where their children would laugh, all while my own stomach was performing a painful, empty symphony. The irony was a heavy cloak I wore every single day. I moved with the rhythm of the city. One day, I was a real estate guru. The next, I was an interior decorator, then a salesman. Each job was a different costume, a different mask for the same reality. But no matter what I did, no matter how much I suffered or how hard the world pushed against me, there was one place where I found my true self. A place where my voice was heard not by clients, but by my maker. I served God fervently. I played those drums as if they were an extension of my very soul. Sometimes, after a long, exhausting service, everyone will be gone. The last echoes of the choir would have faded, and it would just be me, the drums, and the presence of something bigger than myself. And when it was time to leave, I would pack my instrument bag, hoist it over my shoulder, and begin the long, lonely trek home. My pockets would be as empty as my stomach, but my heart was full of a stubborn, audacious faith in the promise of daily bread, even when all I had was the nightly walk.
They say the suffering was grievous. They say it was painful. That's true. But what they don't tell you is how those moments feel like the world is collapsing on you from all sides. The physical hunger was one thing. The emotional hunger, the desperate, gnawing need to feel safe, to feel seen, to feel like you belong somewhere, that was another kind of pain entirely. It was the kind of pain that makes you question the very words you believe in. But even then, even when the rain was washing the last bit of warmth from my body, and the hunger was so sharp it felt like a knife, I held on. I held on to the belief that the pain was not the end of the story, that the daily bread I was promised would one day come not just as sustenance, but as a testimony.
They say if you've been pushed out in the rain long enough, you start to believe there must be a dry place somewhere. For me, that dry place wasn't under a roof, but on a computer screen. This was a new kind of hustle, you see. No trekking, no dusty warehouses, no landlords breathing down your neck. It was the future. It was Forex. It was crypto. I looked at those graphs and I saw God's daily bread. But this time, it was coming in dollars, not pennies. Yes. I studied technical analysis, fundamental analysis, candlestick patterns. I was becoming an expert in a language only the truly brave or the truly foolish could understand. I was on top of the world. Every successful trade was proof that my faith in God's daily bread was right, just in a new digital form. I felt like a financial prophet. And then, as is the way of all good stories, the bottom fell out. The market didn't care about my faith. It didn't care about my prayers. It didn't care about all the long nights I spent staring at those glowing charts. One day, the numbers just went red. All of them. And like a thief in the night, they stole everything. Every single dollar, every single kobo. Gone. Just like that. In that moment, I understood a fundamental truth. If you don't have direct control over your hustle, it's not a business. It's just gambling. and the house always wins. I was just another player in a very big casino.
But even in my lowest moments, when the shame and regret were heavy as stones, a miracle happened. Call it mercy, call it divine favor, but an opportunity dropped from the sky. A remote job, earning in dollars. It was a lifeline. I saved every single cent. My mind was racing with possibilities. I had a second chance, a chance to build something real, something I could control.
I started a pure water factory. I know, a pure water factory. It sounds so simple, but it was a gold mine. The money poured in daily. And this time, I was in control. My hands were on the machine, my eyes were on the product, and every day I was making money. I felt a sense of vindication. I had found it. The perfect blend of God's daily bread and my own ambition. My life was finally going according to plan. I was so busy counting my blessings that I forgot to ask if they were the right ones. And then I read a passage, a verse so simple, so direct, that it stopped me in my tracks. Something about how it is useless to wake up early to go to work, and I felt a knot in my stomach. Was this really what God wanted from me? To simply toil for profit? I was making money, yes, but was I living the life I was meant to live? This business, this success, it felt like another kind of cage. A golden one to be sure, but a cage nonetheless. I was making money daily, but I was still toiling, still waking up with the sun. I knew there had to be another way. A way to make money, yes, but without the sweat, without the constant grind. A way to get the daily bread without having to work a single day under the hot sun for it. And so the search began again, for answers, for a new way. I knew the technology was there, the internet, a way to connect with the world, a marketplace without a physical location. I discovered a new business model, a way to sell products online and make money while I was at home, in my slippers, sipping a cup of tea. It was the ultimate dream, a way to make money without leaving my house. I was sure this was it, the true daily bread. This was God's plan. You see, after the pure water business started feeling like another kind of cage, albeit a golden one, I knew I needed a different kind of freedom. Not just from an empty stomach, but from a life on a treadmill. I'd found this new online world where money was made without the sweat of your brow. But to step into that world, I had to learn a new language, the language of tech, the language of the mind. This was the true reinvention. Before, I was trying to survive. Now, I was trying to thrive. I taught myself graphic design. At first, the lines felt clumsy. The colors refused to cooperate. But then it was like learning a new instrument. I began to see patterns, to create beauty from nothing. Then came video editing, coding, skills as foreign to me as a winter coat in Abuja. But I pushed through because I knew this wasn't just about a skill. This was about rewiring my mind. I had been a musician my whole life, a skilled one too. I'd played for some of the biggest names, been part of live recordings that would touch souls. Spiritually, I was a millionaire, but physically, my pockets were as empty as the promises of a politician. I'd leave a stage with the echoes of a roaring crowd and go home with nothing but a pat on the back. My skill gave me spiritual wealth, but left me financially bankrupt. The world had taught me a terrible lie. That skill alone was enough, that if you were good at something, money would just come. But that was a fable. I had to face the painful truth. I was skilled in music, but I was not skilled in making money. And that was the problem. That was the missing piece of the puzzle.
So, my true reinvention wasn't just about learning graphic design or video editing. No, it was about dismantling everything I thought I knew about success. It was about changing my mindset. It was about understanding that my value wasn't just in the talent God had given me, but in how I leveraged that talent to create something real and tangible in this world. The journey into tech wasn't just a business move, it was a spiritual reawakening. I was finally learning how to receive the daily bread, not just hope for it. I was finally learning to be a master, not just of my instrument, but of my destiny.
The greatest lesson, my friend, the one that put every piece of this puzzle into place, is this. Passion doesn't put food on the table. Only money skills do. Oh, I was a master of my passion, my music. I could play those drums and make a whole crusade sing. But while my soul was rich with God's presence, my pockets were empty. Passion is a beautiful song, but it is not a bank. But money skills? Money skills are a different kind of music. It's a science, a rhythm, and a dance. And I was learning to play this new instrument. I wasn't interested in small money. No, I had done small money. Small money is a landlord's trap. I was after the kind of money that gives you freedom,
the kind of money that makes a man feel truly in control of his destiny.
I learned to create digital products that could be sold to the world from the comfort of my home. I learned how to run online adverts that reach thousands, even millions of people. And with every new skill I mastered, I felt my faith in God's daily bread getting stronger and stronger. This was it. This was the provision. Not in a physical job, not under the scorching sun, but in the palm of my hand. The money started to come. Not in small, painful salaries, but in a flood, a huge amount of money.
And from that experience, from that journey, from the physical hustle to the digital grind, a book was born, a testimony. I called it Internet, the new oil well, because that's exactly what it was, a new source of wealth, a new kind of resource, a new way to get daily bread. This book reveals the secrets I learned, the skills I acquired, and the mindset I developed that allowed me to make more money than I ever thought possible, all from a simple laptop and a smartphone. It wasn't just a book, it was my story, my revelation, my proof that the daily bread was real.